Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Working on that Hercules Governor today. So this is the one that came on the machine and it's broke. You can see all the weld on the back. And they've ground off some of this stuff, these pads, and that's why they had some cardboard underneath it. So I went to a good friend of mine's down in Kennebunk, and he had this one that hasn't been welded. All the pads are where they belong. This hole here is a little tighter than mine because mine ran oil. This one runs grease. It's a little later. It's actually correct for the same year. I believe that engine right there, well, I got the flywheels now. I believe that engine was a 1916 mid-year model because this type of governor throttle control came out in 1916. The ones with the oil hole were also changed over to a grease cup in 1916. So I had a changeover machine. Basically, they had changed over the throttle parts, but they still had some of these left over, and they did not change over until they used up all the stock. That's same thing Ford did, you know. I mean, there was always stuff that dragged on, so they changed over a little bit different in time. So mine was one of the changeover models, but that's all right. This is actually correct. Like I say, these bushings, well, there's no bushings in there, but this hole here is tighter than mine, but it is wore a lot. So I'm going to machine this, and where's the pin? Here's my pin. On mine, it's actually tight enough that you have to drive it in and out. On this one here, those need to be rebushed. So that's no problem. I'm going to clamp it in a vise on the milling machine. I'm going to drill down through the both of them. I'm going to put this, it's actually for a 5/16 valve. So that means when I get done, I'll have a very, very thin piece of cast iron in there, but that's what I want. And I'm going to bush that. If you put a thicker piece of cast iron in it, you end up coming out in the meat a lot more and it weakens it. So I just want a thin piece in there, just enough to tighten that back up. Also, this one here came with the famous number 12 screws, which are a pain in the butt to get because mine were all screwed up. I only had one good one. So now I got 5 good ones and one that's marginal. That one really ain't much good. That one's junk, and that one's junk. So, yeah, I got one extra one now. I'll put that in the drawer for safekeeping. But that's where we're at. So I'm going to go set this up in the mill. This side right here, you can see a shiny spot, and this over here is dark. There's about 2 thousandths difference between here and there, and it actually rubs here. So this isn't square. It was never machined square, and I can tell by looking at it. So I'm going to put that in and put a shim under that side. I'm going to clamp it right here in this area, and right here we'll clamp it down. Then I'll just take a 3/8 or a 1/2 inch end mill, a nice sharp one in there, and I'll just mill this down flat. And then we'll deal with the clearance afterwards. We're going to have to make something to fit it. So anyway, I'll bring you back when we get it set up. Okay, I got it set up. That's about as poor of a setup as I've ever had, I think. It's pretty sketchy, but we're going to go very, very light. And only a few thousandths to a pass, and we'll see if we can gnaw this out. So I'll get the phase converter going, and I'll bring you back here when we're milling. So I'm only taking 5 thousandths to a pass. Okay, that's how it come out. Looks pretty good. So that's it for that. Now we gotta bore these out, and well, as you can see, I got a 3/8 rod in there. Runs in and out pretty true. So I'm gonna use that setup right there. I'll put everything to 0 on my digital readout. I'll set it down enough I can get my ream in, and we'll ream this girl out. Yeah, I'm through. So we got the 1/2 inch ream in. This wouldn't be bad, but I got the camera stand in the way. There we go. Now that guide, if I move that over, should just about start in that. Oh yeah. Yep, it's gonna be perfect. We'll just tap one in the bottom and top. I gotta cut it off over there in the lathe. I'll bring over the pieces and I'll tap them in. Hopefully tapping on this doesn't move anything. Beautiful. Okay, I thought my camera was on, it was off, but I did ream it 3/8, and so I got a good fit now. All I got to do is just go ahead and file these down a little bit so everything will fit. And this is 100% reworked, all it needs. So we'll go on to the next pieces. Well, I got those flattened off pretty good. Good enough anyway. So yeah, everything's all set on this. The only thing I have to do now is wash it up. And I got to take the gear and do a little bit of modifying on the gear and make a spacer. Well, this is that piece all reconditioned. We've got this all machined off flat. That, as you know, was real sloppy. And it's a little tight, but that's kind of the way I'd like to have it. Just like that, right against the cotter pin. Perfect. So that piece is done. Now, we've got to go and square off this shoulder on this gear. And got to be careful about that because we can't have any, you know, wobble in it when we go to machine. But anyway, I'll go get it set up. Okay, that gear happens to have an odd number of teeth on it. So it sets right in there perfect on each jaw. And it's pretty darn true. So I'm just going to go on in and just go back into this shoulder and just square this so that it's not rounded. I'm not going to film it, but I'll show it to you in a minute. Okay, I got that machined off. So we will assemble this real quick. I'll take the pin out of there. Just have less stuff in the way. And we'll see what we need for a washer. So that right there is what we need for a washer. Looks like about, geez, almost a quarter of an inch, probably 200 thousandths. I'll have to go get a mic to find out. So that's what I did. I put 3 washes on there. Don't know if those are hard enough washes to work. I'll just keep an eye on it. It's nothing, you know, that's hard to get to. So anyway, that unit is done. We got that pin fixed. This stuff here, there was nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with this piece. So yeah, all the governor pieces are good. All reconditioned. I was looking for that box. So anyway, that's going to be it for this video. We've got the governor bracket reconditioned. So yeah, I don't know what the next piece is going to be, but we'll do something next time. So keep safe, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.